Since there's 5 minutes left of case building. We would like to start first with introducing the judges for NOVED 2023 Novice Grand Finals. From Cap, you can take the lead from here.
Okay, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to NOVED 2023's Novice Grand Final. For this round, we have a panel of really good judges, and we think that we have to introduce them to show the high quality judges that will be judging later on the very high quality Novice Grand Final. So my name is Ariel, part of the CAP, and I'll be the one introducing the judges. Let's immediately start. First up, we have Feliani from Universitas Tanjung Pura. She is the Open Champion of NUDC 2020, the EFL Grand Finalist of Pre-Korea WWDC 2021, Novice Best Speaker of NUDC 2019, and this year's CAP member of NUDC and Academy National Level of 2023. This is the first of our judges. Next. We have Jessica from Universitas Sumatera Utara. Jessica is the invited judge of 3 NUDC simultaneously, 3 in a row from 2020 to 2022. Jessica is the CAP of NUDC Region 1 selections of this year's NUDC, the invited judge of many, many open competitions, naming a few of CODA 2023, Tipo Open, Founders Trophy 2021, and definitely many, many more that does not fit within the slide. Jessica is also the champion of ERI 2023 and the ESL Grand Finalist of Mini Melbourne 2020. Next. We have Justin Orlando, our N2/in-depth from Universitas Catholic Parayangan, the one and only, judging within the Novice Grand Final of NOVED 2023. Justin is 2 times gold medalist of KDMI in 2022 and 2023, Open semi-finalist of KDMI 2022, the champion and second best speaker of English Parade 2023, the champion and third best speaker of Sumatra English Debate Open 2023, and the Open semi-finalist and third best speaker of Jurisdiction and Javelin 2021. Next. A member of our CAP, we have Leonardus Hans from Institut Teknologi Bandung. All of their achievements unfortunately cannot be fit into their slides. So the top 5 we can highlight from Hans's amazing CV is the ESL semi-finalist for 2 WWDCs, which is Belgrade WWDC 2022 and Madrid WWDC 2023. Hans is also the Open Octo finalist of UADC 2023, the champion of NUDC 2022, and EFL champion of UADC 2020. Next. Last but definitely not the least, sharing this round, the CAP member of NOVED 2023, Elgard Mario from Universitas Indonesia. Elgard is the champion of IFED 2023, grand finalist of so many competitions, naming a few of Indonesia Open 2023, Atma Open 2023 and 2021, NOVED 2021, AU Open, and many, many more. Elgard is also the ESL quarterfinalist of WWDC Belgrade 2022, the EFL semifinalist of WWDC Korea 2021, and the CAP of ALSA UI 2022, IFED 2023, and of course, this very competition. That's 5. With this great amount of judges, with all of these amazing CVs, and you can see that this is definitely a trusted panel to judge this high quality Novice Grand Finals. Therefore, passing it on towards the chair, Elgard, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Sorry itu kayak typo ya, the year. Anyways, yeah, so glad that we get to see a really good composition of panelists in today's finals. But what we should be more excited about, however, is the amazing list of teams that are going to compete in today's finals. So on opening government, wait, Orcom, can you help to share the screen for the bumper? Right. In opening government, we have UNPAD D with Aqil and Yehezkiel as opening government. In opening opposition, we have UNHAS C with Arifah and Esya as the speakers. In closing government, we have UGM D with Alfarizi and Gusti Diah as the speakers. And in closing opposition, we have UNDIP B with Zora, Amelia, and Gracesya as the speakers. The motion is equally as exciting. Reads, this House believes that hiring paid individuals is a legitimate way to promote your cause. I think the time is up, yeah, for I think the time is up, yeah, for case building. Am I right, everyone?
Yes.
With that in mind, the teams, are you guys here? OG, are you here?
Yes, here.
Oh,
Oh, it's here.
all right. CG,
CG complete.
CO.
Yes, we're here and complete.
All right, everyone is complete and settled. I will not be putting the time step in the chat, so I hope everyone is timing on their own. Can a member of the panel, maybe Kafeliani, can you help to put it in the chat?
It's time, right?
Yes, timestamp. All right, cool. With that in mind, please be equitable. As this is recorded, please be engaging, give POIs and accept POIs as well. And yeah, here's to a good debate. We welcome PM. Here.
Am I audible?
Audible.
Okay, I will start my speech in 3, 2, and 1. In our world today, numerous critical issues such as social justice, environmental preservation, public health, etc., require dedicated efforts to bring about positive change, right? At present, advocacy movements primarily rely on a mix of volunteers, activists, and nonprofit organizations to champion these causes. Volunteers and unpaid individuals passionately dedicate their time and resources to push for change. These grassroots efforts often serve as the moral compass of society, raising awareness and highlighting issues that might otherwise be overlooked. But one question needs to be asked: until when? Need for us to realize, while volunteers and passionate individuals play an invaluable role in driving change, sometimes the complexity and scale of the issues demand a more structured and resource-intensive approach. This is where hiring paid individuals becomes not only legitimate, but a vital strategy, right? Now, our central aim is to establish that hiring paid individuals for promoting a cause is not just justified, but is crucial, ethical, and legitimate strategy for advancing positive change in society. Now, a few characterization. We argue that hiring paid individuals is an ethical and morally sound approach to advancing any cause, right? This practice aligns with principles of fairness, accountability, and transparency, which are fundamental in advocacy and cause promotion. This will be further explained in my argument. Second, while unpaid volunteers and passionate activists are the lifeblood of any cause, we should highlight that at times their dedication might not be sufficient for complex, large-scale issues, right? It's not about undermining their invaluable contributions, but rather about emphasizing the importance of harmonizing their passion with the professionalism that paid individuals bring to the table. Next, there's this transformative potential of hiring paid staff, right? Their expertise, dedication, and unwavering commitment lead to the efficient execution of projects and long-term success. And promoting the legitimacy of hiring paid individuals, this point cannot be overstated, right? So that is why we, as the opening government, believe that it is legit for us to hire paid individuals to promote our cause. Two arguments to support my stance, right? One, on how paid individuals can provide professional expertise and skills when it comes to working in both nonprofit and profit organizations or companies, right? When it comes to advancing a cause, professional expertise and specialized skills can make all the difference, right? Hiring paid individuals allows us to tap into a vast pool of knowledge and experience that can propel our advocacy to new heights, right? Consider a scenario where we're addressing a complex issue, right, such as environmental conservation. A paid environmental scientist can provide critical insights, conduct research, and help develop sustainable solutions. Their expertise in the field can be instrumental in designing an effective conservation strategies and implementing them with precision, right? Moreover, this professional skills can lead to more efficient and targeted efforts, right? For instance, a paid fundraising manager can employ proven fundraising techniques, resulting in increased financial support for the cause. This in turn allows for scaling up of activities and a broader impact, right? While rather than looking at only relying on volunteers who we don't know whether they are expert or whether they have the expertise, whether they have the skills or not when it comes to doing their work, right? But when it comes to our side of the house, we will choose the people that are legit, that are experts in their field, right, to support our purpose. Because why? Because we pay for their action, we pay for their work, right? This means that it is justified for us to have a transaction between what they can do and what we will give to them, right? In this term, we give funding and paid jobs, right? In essence, for this one, hiring paid professionals helps us to ensure that the cost benefits from the best practices and strategic thinking that come with experience, right? Their specialized knowledge and skills empower the cause to overcome challenges, make informed decisions, and maximize its effectiveness, right? This level of professionalism not only legitimizes the hiring of paid individuals, but also elevates the overall impact and success of our cause, right? Let me give you a more clear example on how it will look like in our world, right? For example, that you are running a nonprofit organization that provides food assistance to the homeless, right? But what you are seeking is to expand your reach and impact, right? But you do not have the expertise or resources to do so on your own. You rely on volunteers who you don't know whether they are capable or not, right? So you decide to hire a paid individual with a background in public relations, marketing, etc., right? This individual helps you to develop a strategic communication plan that includes like targeted media outreach, social media management, social media analyzation, etc. As a result, your organization gains significant media attention and attracts new donors and volunteers, right? While in the volunteer side, they don't really have the capacity to do so. So the measurement of success is kind of blurry, right, in their side. Onto my second arguments, right, on how paid individuals can actually help us on building the sustainability of our organization in the long term, right? Beyond their immediate impact on promoting a cause, hiring paid staff is a crucial thing for the long-term sustainability and the growth of organizations, right? Especially those organizations who are dedicated to making a difference. Consistency and stability provided by paid individuals play an important role, a crucial role in this regard, right? Helping attract and retain stakeholders rather than volunteers who we won't know whether their motivations will be stable or not, right? Stability is the cornerstone for building trust and reliability in the eyes of stakeholders, right? The volunteers, supporters, donors, investors, etc., right? When individuals see that an organization has a dedicated and consistent team, they are more inclined to invest their time and resources, right? Donors in particular often seek reassurance that their contributions will be used effectively and efficiently, right? While paid staff members committed to their roles and financially dependent on the organization's success provide this reassurance. While volunteers, well, back again, we will never know what kind of work will they provide to us, right? We will never know what kind of motivation, what kind of performance will they give to us. Moreover, what we can see from paid staff, they can facilitate efficient and organized management of resources, right? This management includes financial planning, project execution, and the oversight of all activities inside the organization, right? When an organization is perceived as stable and well managed, it becomes more attractive to potential partners and investors, further enhancing its capacity to promote its the cause effectively, right? Because a growing and sustainable organization has the potential to expand its reach and impact, but we also need the the human resource to help us on supporting this expansion, right? The financial security provided by paid staff enables organizations to plan for the long term, invest in growth initiatives, and develop comprehensive multi-year strategies to tackle complex issues. And therefore, we are proud to propose. Thank you.
Thank you for that speech. To open the case from OO, we welcome Leader of Opposition. Here.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me just arrange my papers. Okay. I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. The kind of professionalism that the opening government is not going to get, or the government is going to get, is the kind of professionalism that can only be achieved by, for example, if you like paid high price for them and like actually deliver like pay them a real high price, which we think that is not sustainable for example, for like an organization that is promoting cause, for example, like charity and etc. We believe that is not it is not a sustainable way of thinking. First of all, a couple of setup before we actually go into our substantive. First of all, we believe that the company here is that a couple of setup. Number one, we believe that the company here will still actually have like basic organization, meaning that there will be still like leader, right? There will be still like secretary, right? There will be still, and that actually makes sense to actually like take care or like cater towards the organization in itself.
Hi, sorry, UNHAS. I think UNDIP is in the bathroom, yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Sorry,
yeah.
Here it's okay, kok. You can proceed.
UNDIP, next time if you want to ada izin gitu, just unmute ya, because if you're in the chat kayak possibly gak kedengeran. Okay, UNHAS, you can restart ya.
Okay, no worries at all. Let me just restart. Okay. Okay, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. In order for the government to actually prove that it's hiring individuals indeed like someone that is capable of something, we believe that this is something. We believe that they actually have to like provide a lot of funding towards this if you want to make your business legitimate. For example, if you really have to like say something with hire individuals, for example, like that, and we believe that it's not something that is sustainable. Right. So one setup, the company will still have like a lot of decisions, so that is actually it makes sense. But here we want to prove to you why actually like things that why in order to actually promote your cause, you need it is actually still good if you want to like use volunteers, for example. So this setup here actually proves to you that yes, it is still the organization will still have a basic organization, means that it is still standing. But in order to actually for you to actually promote and make your like your cause legitimate, for example, there will be still needed a lot of volunteers and like non-paid individuals and etc. A couple of characterizations to begin with. Number one, we actually want to is hiring paid people can actually be like they're actually someone that is like wanted, for example. So therefore, we want to like and like heavily wanted, for example. Second, in order to promote cause is something that is very important for like companies or like for like you to promote your cause because it's like the idea of promoting cause. There is like a lot of many variables, which is the idea is that there is a lot of unpredictability within it actually promoting your cause. And lastly, for example, like if you run an organization, if you have a company like limited like organization, there is like, for example, like a limited funding, for example, limited funding that actually going to like not might be not sustainable to actually like hiring individuals. The idea is that if you actually want to promote your cause, the idea of like volunteer will be grand because of why? Because of number one, a couple of preemptive here is that the opening government thinks that the volunteers are like someone who just joined, like I have no idea what they say that they're doing. Number one, there are actually like selection for like the volunteers. For example, you can actually do like selection for the volunteer so that you can make sure that these volunteers are actually someone that actually know about the cause and actually like know and understand and passionate about the cause, right? Second of all, so after the selection, these volunteers yeah, so this we believe that these volunteers, the impact of these volunteers, meaning that we already have people that are like know what they're doing. So therefore, the promoting the promoting the cause is actually going to better to begin with, right? Second, we actually have like numbers. If you have like volunteers or like people who are passionate about this, the numbers are going to be big. The reason of why, because the numbers in itself is like when you have like for example a problem, right? And then like, for example environmental problem, people are going to be really affected by them. So then therefore, if you really want to like promote your cause, what you have to do is that yeah, when you like use the volunteer, for example, you're gonna be like having a lot of high numbers instead of in comparison towards like hiring paid individuals. So like the numbers in itself is going to be really big in order for you to actually promote your cause, right? The impact of this is that when you really want to promote your cause, the scale of our site is actually going to be bigger. When you wanted to promote the cost, the scale is going to be bigger, going to be instead in comparison towards like the hiring paid individuals. So therefore, those are the reason why like the volunteer will be grand to begin with, right? So we have proven to you that the idea of like hiring paid, right? The volunteers are still have ability to be like still be accepted and like still have that, for example, the we have the selection process, and then the numbers will be high. So then, therefore, you can we will come on to our next substantive, in this that the parameter of like for example, legitimate is actually really like it's actually like a lot, and it is actually like for example very unpredictable. But one of the most important parameters when you actually want to like use the when you want to like affect in promoting the cause. It's actually public perception and how you actually get like why is this actually the case when the public perception is actually really important for you to get in order for you to actually promote the cause, because it is what people think of you. It is what people like think of you from the outside, right? And then and then therefore that's then we're going to like think of you make sense of like what your cause is and etc. and etc. Right? When you have just like a volunteers, for example, like the people, the people or like the volunteers that you have already selected and have this a lot of numbers, you're going to be easily changing the public perception to begin with. Means that your cause is going to be better because they're like the people, because like not going for using this like volunteers, for example, and numbers, for example, we're actually going to like affect a lot of more people and like easily change the public perception and easily going to like persuade people into going into your cause. And lastly that I want to bring is the idea of like, for example, the organizations have limited funding to begin with. When you have like a limited funding, the organization in itself is actually very important. The funding in itself is actually very important for only like for specific reason. For example, like the basic organization and actually like spreading the cost. The idea is here is that if you actually like paid people, like hiring paid people, is going to like cut the budget of your limited funding companies into like hiring the paid individuals. Why is that problematic? It is problematic because like the only people like what you should be doing is actually like going this budget is actually really important to begin with if you already have limited funding, right? So therefore, those budget to begin with should go towards like the actually the real thing, like like helping, for example, the organization that you're doing or like promoting and promoting the cause at the end of the day. At the end of the day, GTS, when you weigh this, we believe on basis, meaning that the volunteers are actually really are actually like have already been selected, meaning that have gone through like specific mechanizations to begin with. And we believe that the weighing on this is that the numbers in itself is actually going to be bigger, and so therefore it's going to affect a lot more people and changing the perspective of like a lot more people proud to oppose.
Thank you for that speech. To close the case from OG, we welcome DPM here.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, wait. Set timer dulu ya. VOI preference resign aja. Terus apa ya? Nah itu aja deh. Oke. I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Panels, let's talk about how exactly that we're going to jump in before we're going to give my extent about ELKs. I'm going to give rebuttals and POP, and also regarding about simply about their case from OO. OO simply failed on how they will explain to us how they will sustain the motivation for non-paid employees. They never explain to you how exactly they're going to make sustain about this thing. But second, they failed to you on presenting potential negative consequences of relying on paid individuals. Hence, our stance still stands regarding on how paid individuals will be more legit when it comes to driving our cars. But thirdly, fail on explaining to us the mechanism on how they will select this volunteer and based on what criteria they failed to prove to us how this volunteering selection will be more beneficial to drive organization or even company rather than paid. When the truth is in the status quo, we can see that even volunteering even are still paid to attract people to join, which blurs the line between which is really volunteering and which one is doing action while getting paid. But however, let's talk about how exactly more specifically in their case. Number one, they say to you that how exactly this is promote your cause because the idea have volunteer because they have a connection, they have same promote cause. This only happen, this is only work if their volunteer have same goals with you, have same have same promote your cause with also have same standing with you, have a promote your cause. But however, let's talk about how exactly compare if they have different cause. What does it mean? It means it shows you that how exactly volunteer mechanism only work if they have same goals and have same stands prerequisite for your cause. But there's no way we're going to begging them for having same promote cause. And even if that these people person is not more likely, I already explained to you that how exactly we live in capitalist person and we know to fulfill the financial needs. Therefore, there's no way to have same about connection or even this mindset itself. But second, let's talk about how exactly they say to you that there's a member big participant. I don't think this is going to be exclusively true. Why? Because participant and also happen to us. Why this is going to be happen? Because we're going to hiring to someone to think strategic, how exactly our event, how exactly to promote your cause, to have a big participant. For example, we're going to have even planner or even analyze how exactly that going to be more sustained. And also we say to you that how exactly, there's a trend that really unpredictable. Therefore, it's really more, certain effect if you're going to show advertise show paid for individuals that legitimately to promote your cause. Therefore, it's going to be more certain if you're going to pay those individual. But second, let's talk about how exactly they say to you is going to be more better for the public perception. In our side of the house, public perception also happen. Why? Because we're going to hiring paid individuals, for example, PR analysis, public relation analysis, to make sure that you going to have a public perception is really good. What does it mean? It means it shows to you that how exactly public perception also happen in our side of the house, because we're going to use promote your because we're going to use hiring paid individuals to be more have certain effect. This is all that never certain giving an regarding about the issues. But let's talk about how exactly in our case. Let's talk panels, we think exactly that we live in a world capitalistic. Why this is going to happen? Because it's really hard to find money. For example, you need to secure your financial. They're thinking twice for the society to do everything. If it can secure their needs regarding about financial, they're going to willingly to do so and going to be more strategic to do their work. Therefore, it's going to be beneficial to hiring paid for the individual. But second, let's talk about how exactly why is it okay to do principally? Because this is exactly the trade-off that we want to do. Because this is happen because they're individually having a greater good. Of course, they're going to be okay to do so. Why? We should recognize effort, because this is going to be make a sustained effect, willingly to next to do effective work. Because this is exactly the contract. This is exactly the only mechanism how exactly this individual to get to promote your cause, to make sure you're going to have simply just having same goals. But second, second, but next, let's talk about how exactly it's going to impact to the greater good. A is going to, people have economic wise to be fulfilled. Talking about purpose and appreciate. Talking about purpose, this is going, have a chase to money to begin with, because in OO, simply they're going to tire and they're so fed up, and there's no way their mechanism to, give a purpose, because this is not going to be sustainability. Comparative to our side of the house is going to be more sustained, because they have what they need to chase. They need to chase, because they're going to fulfill even further to promote your cause, because they have money to, because they have a financial purpose to fulfill. But second, let's talk about appreciative. Let's talk talking about work performance. Human is existence of primata animalistic. They never satisfy. Even if there's a limitation, there's a really blurry talking about limitation. But even if they never satisfy, at least with this paid, it's a symbolic for them to fulfill their needs, to fulfill their appreciate, to fulfill their recognize. What does it mean? It means it shows to you that our side is more be sustainable. So, but last but not least, why it should pay, and why does it need to be volunteer? Because this is exactly like a symbolic of principal contract, because the moment you have a contract, they're going to do their work. At least there is pressure for them to do work, to be more better, to be more strategic, to be more good at the end. But comparative to OO, they never going to be paid. There's going to be problematic, because because no paid, there is no clear standard for you representing your performance. This is going to be problematic, because you're going to be error at the end of the day. Even if OO simply they simply can be forged their skill, but even if you're going to skill their forge, it takes time. However, you have a promote your cause that need to be fulfilled as soon as possible. What does it mean? It means I show to you that timely, there's no strategic. Second, there's no way they're going to be fulfilled. They're promote your cause at the end of the day. But B, let's talk about how exactly individual can simply work just by their own, because they're going to promote your cause, because at the end of the day, there's a pressure from external how exactly that you already paid. So therefore, from internal itself, they're going build to you like, oh, I already paid, so therefore I'm going to make sure I'm going to work really okay at the end of the day. But let's talk about how exactly at the end of this case. Number one, let's talk about exactly the individual. Individual already fulfill about their need. Individual already to make sure they're going to, have a strong willingly to do you promote your cause. But however, let's talk about how exactly promote your cause, because there's differentiation of society how exactly that have different cause. Therefore, at the end of the day, to you, that how exactly to make sure your cause to be promote and fulfill is only legitimate by paid individuals, because individuals only willingly to make sure if they're going to paid, they're going to do their job, they're going to promote your cause, regardless they have different stances about your role. What does it mean? This is exactly the example how exactly people more choose about paid internship rather than join HIMA or BEM example. So this is exactly the example how exactly that we should propose this motion. Thank you.
Thank you for that speech. Now we welcome to close the opening debate, Deputy Leader of Opposition. You're here.
Hi there. Am I audible?
Am I audible?
Yes, audible.
I pronounce you her. If you have any POI, please directly unmute yourself because I'm not able to check the chat box during my speech. Starting my speech in, oh wait, a second. Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. Understand the wording of the motion is stated legitimate, meaning under government side, you will create a new standard, new regulation, and new trend where every company should hiring paid individual as the prerequisite of you to operate to scout in new workers, as if the other individuals who are in the middle class for less recognition individuals is just as bad who don't have to be counted and considered again. We say it's bad under two reasons. First, under government, you will literally hamper the opportunities of the fresh graduate who most likely lack of experience, lack of recognition, and those who needed the most the opportunity of the job because they want to seeking for experience to get a good job, right? You literally make you like pause the opportunity of them to get the experience. Second of all, government also kill the motivation of small companies who are not established enough. Since we all know the characterization of small companies, they have limited funding, they have limited resources, limited influence people to get networking, to get the link for paid individuals, for example. Making paid individuals as a legitimate way to promote costs of companies, you will make this kind of small companies has no hope to compete, even to establish, since they will see themselves as non-legit and no hope at all, right? We don't like it. We say all individuals deserve the chances to try to get to try, right, to get an objective valuation not only from the track record that they have, but the present, the actual talent the persistence of them to develop, the ambition of them to start seeking for new experience. We believe that those who are professional come from those who want to learn, right? But the question is here, which side can provide people the place to learn better? It's us, parents. It's opening of decision. Under OG, those who are professional will gain benefit, but those who just started their careers will be left behind. No alternative by them. They kick the most vulnerable actor in this debate. We deserve to win over them, right? Like several responses here. First, we are being so kind because we understand the concept of OG is that they are scared that the company of professionalization will run by the volunteer, the fresh graduate, which has zero experience and mess up at the end of the day. Right? We say it's less likely to happen. It will not go. They don't have to be so worried about it, because the process of selection of this fresh graduate of this of this volunteer is still there, right? What are them? We say that the moment they create a CV, for example, the moment that they will do a file selection, interviewing, group training, or even at the end when they are passed into like a new staff, they still have HR is willing to help them to observe them, right? Meaning the efficiency, the effectivity in terms of the company still achievable, right? You will get a lot of help by the structural companies, because companies will have the incentive to like literally training them to be a good a good worker, right? That's why we think that this point still mitigable under our side of the house, right? And then they told you, panels, no pay, no. If you don't pay them, there's no guarantee for them to be have a good performance. No way, panels. It's a very evil assumption for them, right? These people is those who actually need a job. They won't have to. They want to have recognition. They will have the inherent incentive to make their performance good. Why do you think it's just going to be so bad but because at the very first point they need actually this job, right? We say the moment they don't, the moment these people know they don't get paid, this is the moment they will realize that they need a good experience, they need a good performance to maintain, to like actually to literally jump into like the paid job at the end, right? But let's enough for the response. Let's just move to this our framing and our setup, right? I will integrate it into one. Panels, listen. Under our side, we don't impose anything to anyone. We stick to the status quo, where the companies can freely choose their model. OG cannot push us the burden. We should defend the company who fully operate by volunteer, for example, because not what is going to happen under our side. We say under our side, the possibility of them to hiring paid individual is still there. What makes it different with their world? We give them option. We don't set a legitimate standard of companies, meaning on our side, we still open for the volunteer, fresh graduate, and etc. Not like them who only focus to the professional one, which is not vulnerable at all, right? Listen, panel, even not by this motion, this paid individual is still able to survive at the end of the day, right? In the competition world, but because they still have like the capability, they are already to get a recognition. But those who are fresh graduate is the most vulnerable actor in this motion, right? We're able to bring the issue and the vulnerable actor. That's why you have to vote for OO, right? I think also under our side, we think that we are better because we can open as much a room as possible for those who actually need like experience, right? Okay, let's move to our argument here. How this motion would worsen the condition, it will hamper the objectivity and like the sustainability of companies. It would hamper the objectivity to values a certain individuals, and like it would like harm the sustainability of companies at the end, right? Panels, notice there's no urgency coming from OG of why we should just change the whole method of company in our world. They only bring you the idea of better operationalization by sacrificing a lot of people, which is the most vulnerable one. We already told you, we already characterized to you, right? We say current status quo is fine, but the process of hiring is just objective as what it is, right? Companies scout those not on company scouts their like workers not only one parameter like what they want to do, right? Not only by looking their track record, but and their amount of paid, for example, and etc. But also considering their persistence by interviewing them, considering their vision, mission, how they should how actually their lifestyle suit into a certain company's values of companies, right? We say it's much more better than what OG offer us. Look, under their side, these all parameters, these all consideration that I already told you before, simply just shift away, because you will standardize like as a legitimate way to like promote, right? As long as under their side, as long as these people have a good track record, they can simply get the job. And which actually we said that it's not objective at all, right? How because we actually need to know them, we need to know the workers to value them not only by the track record, because we say it's also good. We say that it's also only good for like the benefit that they provide. It's also only good for the short term, right? Under your side, you will not give the chance for individual to learn, meaning you only relies on one generation, for example, the professional one. Meaning the sustainability of your company is also questionable. The moment like this professional is already getting old, and you cannot like have the other generation that can replace this position, and you and this and then this is the moment that we question the sustainability of your company, right? That's why if you want to like protect the most vulnerable actor, you should vote for UNHAS. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. To open the closing half, we welcome member of GOV. You're here.
Okay, let me set my camera first. If you haven't your eye, please drop it in the chat box and do not interrupt my speech. I'm gonna start my speech in 3, 2, 1. I think the biggest burden in this debate is which team can prove to you why. Is it the best way? Is this the most legitimate way? In a way, this way can help the people to achieve whatever their interest or their cause, their interest of their cause, right? So the thing that can prove to you, this way is at the end of the day can help you to achieve your interest. At the end of the day, is the thing that have to win the debate, right? In under CG, maybe we'll go slightly into the same direction with OG, but we will give you more clear analysis and comparison in our side of the house, right? Before I move into my argument, several set up under CG. Number one, what we want in this debate, we want this kind of actor who have like the cause, who have like their interest and cause. Like for example, they want to glorify special, like specific social issue, for example, or whatever their issue is, to get like society and people attention at the end of the day, right? Because they really need their people exposure and also people attention into their issue. But number one, let's characterize the actor in this debate. First, let's talk about who is getting paid in this debate, right? In our side of the house, we believe that there's two actors that are getting paid in this debate context. Number one, is that people in the gray area. Is that people that in the gray area that they are getting paid to promote the issue that these people who have the cause have, right? Why this is likely to happen? Because they do not study or have like certain opinion yet about whatever the issue is, right? But number one, I think that the people that also getting paid is the people that have the power to influence people, like the influence society, like public speaker, for example, because they have the power to influence people at the end of the day, like which is in line with the interest of the person that have the cause itself. But number one, the people that paid other people are gonna do like briefing to the people that they paid, so whatever because whatever they promote, so whatever they promote is on high quality, and at the end of the day can attract other people, like attract society attention, right? But number three, because the individual is getting paid, I think they have the burden to promote it in a very good way. So opposition cannot enter this debate by saying that they only like throw hate comment to other people, because like how the regular buzzer in Twitter, for example. But number four, realize that this is realize that the characterization of people that get paid the individual, they already allocate that much money, which is not a little. So if they already dare to allocate that much money, means the issue is that important for them and really need people attention. So when the status quo is other ways, like it is really hard for them to like getting people attention and get their issue on the trending, for example. We need an alternative, right? Okay, moving to my argument. In my argument, I will prove to you first why this is a legitimate way and most effective way at the end of the day, right? We believe that this is the most legitimate way, because at the end of the day, this can save interest the people that have the issue, right? What's the problem with the status quo? Let's frame the status quo. The status quo first. Sometimes the status quo, when we have important issue that actually need to be heard by the world, it's really hard to get people attention. When we want in other side, we want like people pay attention to whatever our issue, right? But what's the reason of this? Number one, I believe that media discourse and people discourse is very hard to control, right? We cannot predict whatever the issue is going to blow up on the Twitter trending, for example. We cannot predict whatever the issue is gonna get popular in this meantime, right? But number one, I think that the issue is likely to blow up by people issues that controversial or problematic, or like, you know, that actually can attract people, like artist scandal, for example. So it is very hard for you when your cause is still small, small issue that don't really have that big exposure and don't really have the likelihood to attract people attention, right? So why individual paid is the most effective way and the most effective way to counter all of this problem, because of the reason. Number one, I believe that paid individual got the burden to promote this in the most good way. Like for example, because the money is there, the money is the symbol of their obligation from the payer to do the best in their job, right? Oji tried to bring this into the debate, but we will propose you another reason, which is number two. But not only that, you also do the briefing to them. Like, you know, because you already paid that big amount of money, you of course want to make sure that your buzzer, for example, or individual that you paid, do the maximal effort to promote your cause. Like for example, you brief them so they drop a good comment, good opinion on Twitter, so that people not only like see that someone is on your side, but also proceed to read that opinion and increase the possibility to that person to get influence to your issue, right? This is important because if you can make your opinion as good as possible, like as have a big as high quality as possible, I think your opinion will look like something that very reasonable, that this is will likely to people to like believe in whatever you are saying, right? And it is likely happen in our side, because because you press them to do the maximum effort, which is drop a good opinion and also influence people as much as possible, right? What is the impact of this? I have three impact. Number one, you have people that sustainably promote your issue, because they work because the money is already there, so they will still work regarding their personal belief, regarding their personal ideology, because the money is there as the symbol of their obligation, right? But number two, you have the chance to touch the people in the gray area and sway them into believing into your issue, because the more people you pay, the more they succeed to the influence the people. I think it is more possible to them to touch more people, especially people in the gray area, right? But number three, even if you not like you not succeed in swaying them into your side, I think this is still okay, because at least you can dominate the discourse, right? Like for example, you can put your issue in the trending, for example, you should blow out. This is important because when you succeed to put your issue in discourse, even though people do not directly agree, at least when you see the issue on the trending, they are curious and they want to see what is this actually mean, right? Let's compare to what in the other side, like what OO believe in this debate, which is like volunteering. Why the idea of volunteering is not going to work to achieve this person interest? I have two reasons. First, realize that volunteering is unpredictable. Maybe the people that agree or have the same idea as you exist, but it's very hard to predict whether they want to go on action to promote your cause or issue, right? But number two, realize because it is voluntary, people their commitment is really uncountable. How does it look like? Their commitments really rely on their belief on the issue. If they believe if they believe the issue is not relevant anymore, or even if they think it's still relevant but not worth their effort, I think they will stop to promote, right? So I think this is very uncontrollable. In our side, you can have the people that sustainably will promote your cause. So I think this is legitimate way, because at least you will achieve your interest. So we support for CG. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that speech. We welcome member of opposition. Here.
Hello, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, audible.
Okay. Wait, let me set my timer. In the meantime, my name is Rachel, gender pronoun she, her. If you want to POI, just through chat. Okay. Wait. 1 minute. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna start my speech in 5, 4, to several rebuttals coming from the opening bench, and also for the I think that it's good for them because the paying environment can be good for the strategy because they have professional skill that can lead to more first, I think that this is not exclusive because professionalism is not the issue here, right? Even like it's really possible for volunteers to actually contribute with their with the betterment of the organization. For example, like Rocky Gurung, for example, he is not getting paid to lecture in campus, but you cannot actually discredit his contributions to the university, right? So I think that is why it's not exclusive. And secondly, OG also said that okay, hiring paid staff is a cruel thing. Volunteer is not sustainable. We will never know the potential from volunteers. First, I don't think that this is true because at the moment in which you are going to be willing to volunteer, right, there are going to be prerequisites to fulfill. For example, like you will be getting interview, you will be getting examined with your capability, with your CV, etc. before entering the organizations, right? And then OG also said that OG also said that OG and CG also said that it's better for them to get paid because they have the moral burden because they're already getting paid, therefore they are nggak enak. For example, first, I think that this is not exclusive. Even the incentive coming from the unpaid organization, unpaid people for or volunteers, for example, they are still the same. They could feel guilty because the organization already put the trust and to expect them to have the ownership to actually sustain the organization. And we also have moral sanctions as well. They could be getting blacklisted, for example. And people with value oriented people, they could feel guilty because they're not sustaining the trust that they've been given, right? I'm gonna talk will end to betray their employees, why supporting a cause is better with unpaid people, why people with money will most likely to betray their organizations, and why their biggest argument about paying money to people would work better is not going to prevail, which is the biggest rebuttal that I'm going to explain later, right? First, why hiring paid individuals is not a legitimate way to promote your cause. This could lead to conflict of interest, for example, making activists unloyal, and the status quo is enough to ensure work ethics. Let's characterize this first, right? Two perspective. Paid employers, at first, they'll definitely be selected, right? An organization that supports a cause must have some sort of selection or probation phase, right? With money, their employee selection pool will be saturated. Not only people that are genuine to the cause, but also the money-oriented ones, right? Money-oriented people will have a tendency to betray their own agenda because the orientation is money, not the agenda itself, right? Why? This proves to you that there is no sincerity and no sustainable mechanism to ensure that these money-oriented people would stay when they are paid to spread our cause, which will be explained later, right? Second, perspective for people who have cost. They want a world to have a certain ideals or habits, right? Because it is not in their status quo. For example, they would need people who are good in performing their jobs, which is to promote a certain cause, right? Now let's talk about why humans have the inherent urge to do something for survival instincts, right? In Asian societies, for example, this manifests in humans in a lot of form, like appetite, romance, gathering, etc., for modern humans, right? We build technologies, build school, clubs, bars, cinemas, whatsoever, all for a better quality of life, right? So that we will all prevail and survive. Our species will prevail and will not go extinct, right? This is the sole reason of every life biologically. This is what our instinct taught us, and it's in every single aspect of us, right? This leads into competition and conflict of interest. Why so? Competition happens because everyone wants to survive, right? Meanwhile, the sources to survive is very limited. It is finite. One apple tree is not only for the group, but also being fought by many other prehistoric human groups. One high-paying job is not only fought by one well-rounded person, but also by so many other talented, money-needing people, right? This is what competition is. This makes us will stick to our causes, and we will be okay with being hostile to each other and make others disadvantaged for our good. This will make paid employers of an organization to be okay with betraying their employers. Furthermore, this competitive nature that are inherently in the human nature itself, it explains that there's an inherent nature of society that will be a conflict of interest, right? You cannot fulfill everyone's interest. Your interest fulfillment is a sacrifice to other. There must be a conflict, a loser and a winner in this finite world, in meritocratic society whatsoever. This makes people become very entwined to their cause, either money, traumas, love, etc. Let's start characterize activism and supporting a cause, right? This is usually being practiced by organizations, political parties, etc. You fight for diversity, indigenous rights, capitalism, communism, feminism, etc. It is usually an idea that is against the status quo, right? Why so? Because if it's already in the status quo, then you wouldn't need activism for it, right? You would just stay silent, and the cause that is supporting you is already exists in your world. There's an important context because this explains a huge domination between the norm and the defiant activists. Our opponent in supporting a cause is the status quo, either the regime, the government, companies, etc. This is because they already have their comfort and success by the prerequisites existing in the status quo. On the other hand, as an activist, we would want the world to be different, right? Than the world that makes those powerful people powerful. We want a world with green economics, with women's rights, with free education, whatsoever, right? It's also important to know that the powerful people that we are going against, they have more money. They are the ones at the government, at the school, for example. They're the one that are companies sitting in high places, being the stakeholders, for example. They have more money and power simply because we are the minority, defiant, and the opposition. What is our point here? Our point here, people with supporting a cause is better with unpaid people. Why so? Simply because people with money orientation will be okay with being hostile and betraying their own cause. This is very likely due to the competitive nature, right? It is also important to see that money is not exclusive. Even our ideological opponents has a tendency to be richer than us. They are the government, the company. This will further manifest by how these paid activists will just move to one place to another based on which organization that could pay them more, the highest, right? This is very likely to happen because their intention in the first place is what? Money. And other places which is our ideological opponent has more money than us, right? Now, best case to gov, even if it's true money, you have the incentive to constantly work better. And this is exactly why we win, because notice how work environments have saturated with people with money orientation, right? And most communist activists are the parents of the lost children, and it's a matter of life or death, and it's not going to fuel them, and it's not gonna be sustainable. That's why we're proud to oppose. Thank you.
All right, to close the case from Gov, we welcome Gov Web here.
Hi Kak, let me set my timer first. String and yeah, I can set that.
Gov Web, anytime ya.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, if you want to POI, just muting yourself. Per gender pronouns he, him. Starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. I will construct my speech based on the flaws that every team have, or every team in this debate have. Right. First, let's talk about opposition side first. Team that never explain their likelihood idea. Team that never explain their likelihood at the end of the day. They said, this idea of volunteer will be run, but few responses. First, I think how you can get your own volunteer. The prerequisite of their arguments can fly if they explain that why you will get volunteer at the very first place. 2 layers. I think it's hard to get volunteer, especially if people didn't know about your movement, didn't know about your business company at the very first place. So like, yeah, this is not likely for you to get your own volunteer, especially if you are creating a new movement, for example, if you are building a startup or etc. etc. B, I think even if yes, it's harmful because you don't have capacity to fully control them, and like they can leave, or they can leave you whatever whenever they want, or they can they can choose to not prioritizing your movement or your business, for example, because it's just volunteer concept that they don't have obligatory, or that they don't have a mandatory to always fight for your cause, for example. So it's not good in your side of the house. Second, selection is not exclusive because it can happen in our side, but the tipping point is 2 layers. I think we just can choose or select easily based on the service quality that market provide for you, based on the price, based on what's suitable for you. So it means we have more choices in our side, but in your side, you just you have to patient to wait for volunteer, but it's very uncertain when the volunteering will be run, or will be fly at the end of the day in your site. But B, I think it's hard to you when you can get the volunteer, or even if you got it, maybe it may not a good quality person that you very need to. It may not a great public speaker. It not more amount of people, because we didn't also talk about the quality itself, but we need more quantity, we need more support or whatnot, right? So like, let's talk about CO talk about, money oriented people will not stay, or la la la. Few responses. First, I think this is untrue because we just contract them for a long term. For example, I know it's costly, but this is okay. At least we get the support easily. We can create a more discourses or more narrative at the end of the day, because they just they cite on our side. We hire them for a long term, for example, for a long time or whatnot, right? But B, I think even if yes, it's not harmful because at least when they are leaving us, the benefit is chiefly in our side. The benefit is about like people are know about our movement or business or whatnot, because the buzzer is already, or the people is already campaigning or supporting about your site in the about our cause in the social media or whatnot, right? 3, I think about the idea powerful people have more money, etc., etc. Few layers of explanation. I think yes, this is exactly, you need fight for this. Like how the analysis then in the point B, like this is movement, not individual. That the characterization of movement is they have like quote unquote uang kas or patungan, for example. So you will also likely to have money for hiring these people, right? Or C, I think for unpaid people, this still legitimate, because if you promote your cause, you likely to allocate everything that you have to get for the maximal output. For people that do not have money, they will allocate their another resources, i.e. their relation, etc. So I think it's not exclusive in your side of the house, but people who have money, you of course will allocate your money to get that maximal output, right? Just because powerful people have money, it doesn't mean they have to press their change to get the maximal output to be the same as unprivileged people, because they are not the cause of their weakness and do not responsible for it. Bitter truth, but true. But I know this is may not populist, but please hear me first. I think for unpaid people, it's not urgent to fight for this cause, because like the urgent things is about political or whatnot, that that the political, or that the characterization is politician is having money or whatnot, that very urgent to menyuarakan, sorry for that, about this issue or whatnot, right? So like this we weigh on the issue that very urgent in our side of the house, not only for the unpaid people or whatnot. What is doing then? First, I think the prerequisite, if you want your cause or at least your business movement campaign or whatsoever, known is only can run only if known by the people, right? two layers, but yeah, they never explain to you why people suddenly will know about their cause and want to volunteering. But we say, at least in our side, the discussions about our case or whatnot is known by people because they know that we exist because buzzer is controlling the media, for example. B, our side can also get about volunteer or whatnot if people is already attached to our cause when more people is supporting and knowing us because hiring paid individuals is fighting for our cause, right? Secondly, it's time sensitive. Adding, yeah, like you need more support right now or the harm will occur. In opposition side, yeah, their harm will irreversible if they didn't get the support right now. For example, RUU PKS is time sensitive issue if people are not aware about this legalization. That, yeah, like catcalling, rape or whatnot will happen in your sites constantly. 3, I think it's more easily to control because if we paid them, we have agency to control them. In Upwork, Samara Amani and Ryan Ernest, like that a great figure from PSI will suddenly leaving PSI and you cannot control them, you lose a great figure. But yeah, let's talk about OG. The teams that their benefit is super uncertain. They say, oh, fastful advocacy. But first, they never explain why you need it. Secondly, they just explain this is just for the business purposes. I think they very assumptive because this is also can talk about social movement or whatnot. 3, we said it's important because the discourses, because the social media is uncontrollable, hence we need more narrative from the buzzer, we need more discourses attempt in social media, right? B, this issue is urgent for the certain area. Yes, it's costly, but it's okay, means like people knowing our cause at the end of the day. They never explain this, right? C, this can get gray area people in the social media. D, we live in a time sensitive that needs very urgent issue to to fight in the end of the day. But yeah, their benefit about building sustainability for organization, I think it's not it's one liner and no explanation why this is likely to harm to run. But in our side, we explain the certain thing is at least when you hiring pay people, you get a lot of buzzer, we get more quantity support for those reasons.
Thank you for that speech. To close the whole debate, we welcome Opposition Whip here.
Okay, am I audible? Hello, am I audible? Hello?
Audible.
Hello? Okay, nice. Let me set up my timer first. So my preferred POI, just unmute. I won't be looking at the chat. Pronounce she, her. And let me read my paper first. Okay. I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Panels, you need to understand that this has been a very, very elitist point of view of activism. In the opening bench, they focuses on work ethics, which one can create better workers, better employers, thus better activism, right? They all talk about paid people have better work ethics and unpaid people tend to just work as much as they like, right? They don't have any rules, they are free because no contracts, no money, etc. This is a very elitist point of view of activism because you need to understand that most activists are activists because of trauma, not because they go to expensive Ivy League schools and learn about it, not because they learn about communism in college and then they become communists. No, the reality is most activists are become activists because their homes are taken off. That's what happened with Wadas activists, for example, or Papua activists, for example, because they have a certain trauma that actually hits the spot, that is actually what happening in their life. It's all about life and death. It's not about experiences. It's not about high paying, which one company is much more high paying. No, it's all about which one is actually can save you. Which one can save my daughter who is lost in the Kerusuhan 98, for example? Or which one can save my house that I've been living on for years, for thousands of years of generations, right? So that's why that is a very important context that is not being brought by the opening bench. However, in the closing, they also try to come into this debate with bringing up some one-liner rebuttals. Like there's contracts if you want to keep a certain workers in here. However, that is still very, very not sustainable because contracts can be revocable. You can just get away. You can just melanggar contract, for example. And spies exist. Even though there are contracts, people still don't obey the law. They don't obey the rules under a certain company. And of course, they can work badly, even under a contract, right? Okay, now I'm gonna go to the clash. Let's talk about the clash in this debate is which side has a tendency to have better workers, thus creating better activities in the world. Okay, now let's talk about OG. OG said that in order to have better workers and activism, you need to pay people. You need to make them become professional. You need to incentivize them with hopes that they can get more money if they work better, like gaji and stuff. Of course, that is what happens in the capitalistic society. That's what happening in companies, and it, well, so far works in a company, in a capitalistic setting. However, you need to realize that this is activism. It's not, it shouldn't be capitalistic. Because why? I'm going to explain it. Okay, now let's talk about OO. Ladies and gentlemen, OO come and said that, how about the money that we instead use for paying people? How about we just use it for activism? How about we build schools with that money? How about we, I don't know, feed the poor with it? However, notice that we are fighting for ideologies, for a certain cause. And, you know, it's a very abstract cause, right? You want to fight about feminism. You want to fight about free education. You want to fight about communism, capitalism, whatever your idea is, it's about idea. And you know what the most inherent thing about idea is? It's abstract. It's only exists in the heads of people. It doesn't have a physical form. What is the physical form of capitalism? Like there's no physical form of ideas. That's why the main character is people. It's about spreading ideas from mouth to mouth, from agendas to agendas, from campaigns to campaigns, and that requires people, because people itself is the main character of the scheme of activism itself. Okay, and then they try to tackle the work ethic problem with survival mechanisms such as from externalities. They said that they have HR, they have management, they have rules, standard of procedures in their offices, right? In their NGOs, right? It is true, it works, but however, they don't explain it why it is inherent for activists to actually have a qualities that is very genuine to the cause. Unlike us, we understand that activists actually come from a place full of trauma, and that's the exact reason why they will work so much better than people who with they will work as good as people with money orientation, because they have a cause that is all about life and death. Money is life and death for some people, and activism is also life and death for activists. That's why we believe that opposing this motion can lead into a better activism. Okay, now let's talk about the main case about why money actually work better. It's not going to be sustainable at all. Yes, with money, you would have the incentive to constantly work better. There is the hope for getting paid higher, and you will not grow resentment, because who likes working unpaid, right? Who likes joining a certain organization and selling risol danusan 5 times a week unpaid? Nobody likes that, and nobody will actually work for that. But why do people do that? Because they have a certain agenda. They want to gain some credibility. Their title that they have joined a certain organization, right? And this is exactly why we win. Because notice how work environment is heavily saturated with people with money or experience orientation. Activists, on the other hand, expectation is just to serve and be sincere. Yes.
How can people talk about their agendas in your site? Meanwhile, we already explained this. This is need a buzzer to control the media by spreading narrative or spamming comments in sosmed or whatnot.
You know, there's a thing called relawan, right? People will fight for their capres unpaid. There are thousands of people doing that unpaid, and they are very sincere about it because they think a certain political figure actually have saved them. Like, let's imagine people who has gotten digus or from their houses and you know, rivers. They will love Jokowi because Jokowi was once in their place as well, and they actually do that for free. And there's thousands of them in the internet. You can just open Twitter and you'll find thousands of them. Okay, now this is exactly what we win, because of this, how the drive is not money, but their traumas, their personal experience, their hatred towards something, and it's strong enough to incentivize incentivize themselves to work for a certain cause. Lost victims of kerusuhan 98, most Palestinians, not just for money and experience. If they don't fight for their lost child's justice, they will lose a bloodline. If they don't fight for their homeland, they will literally lose their houses, because it is a matter of life and death. And Rachel has already characterized how survival is one of the main drive for us to do everything. It is strong enough to fuel them to work very, very passionately, even more than the rich people who is just only searching for short-term credibility and stuff. Even if, okay, we already said that the characterization is some people are genuine, not money-oriented, but however, still more likely for the money-oriented one to survive in the activist realm because they are being collected in the same pool. Because this is why inherently paying activists wouldn't be good, nor legitimate, nor sustainable for the cause you're fighting for. Thank you. Support for CEO.
All right. Thank you so much for Opposition Whip, and thank you everyone for the wonderful debate. Orcom, can you help to create a Zoom, I think breakout room lah ya?